Are you new to Model United Nations? Are you about to attend a Model UN conference? If so, then you need to know how to write a resolution. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how. My name is Ryan Villanueva, and I'm the co-founder of Best Delegate and the Model United Nations Institute. I've been involved in Model UN for 20 years, and I travel around the world to train students and teachers in Model United Nations. I also advise schools, governments, and the real UN on how to promote Model UN. And in this video, I'm gonna explain the basics of a UN resolution. Let's talk about resolution writing. So a resolution is a written document that is adopted by a United Nations body on what the UN wants to do about a particular global problem. And you need to know about resolutions if you're gonna go to a Model UN conference, because your goal in Model UN is to work with other delegates to write and pass resolutions. A resolution at its core has three basic parts: the header, the preamble, and the operatives. The header has four components to it. It states the name of the committee, the name of the topic, the name of the sponsors, who are the students, the delegates, the countries who wrote that resolution and have agreed with it, and they are trying to promote it to get it passed. And the fourth part is the signatories, which is different. The signatories are the delegates who may or may not have been involved with the resolution, likely not, but they have agreed with the sponsors that they will see this resolution presented and debated. The header also contains the resolution number, which should be provided by your chair. It contains the title of the resolution, and it begins with the name of the UN organ, committee, or body that is adopting this resolution. In this case, the General Assembly. And that's an example of a header. The next part of a resolution is the preamble. In Model UN, the different parts of a preamble are referred to as preambulatory clauses. And the purpose of the preamble is to identify what are the specific problems or issues that this resolution is going to address. The preamble also states what the UN and the international community have already done about those particular problems leading up to this point in time, and giving the reason for why we're even writing a resolution about this topic. To write the preambulatory clauses, there's a set of steps that you can go through, and this is what we teach at the MUN Institute. The first is just to write out what is the problem that you are trying to address in your topic. Just write it out in plain English. That's step one. Step two is to take a preambulatory phrase, and you can see this online at bestdelegate.com. You take one of those phrases and attach it to the beginning of your problem. For example, a common phrase is concerned. Concerned that climate change is affecting small island developing states. That's one example. And you can use other words to describe the gravity of the problem. The next step is that phrase should be underlined in most MUN conferences in the US, and the phrase should end with a comma. And at the end, you'll see why. That is the preamble. And then the next part of a resolution is the operatives. And it makes sense. If the preamble represents the problems, then the operatives represent the solutions. And this is how we teach operative writing at the MUN Institute. Similar to preambulatory clauses, for each operative clause, write down the solution that you want to see. You could write it down in plain English in one sentence. Step two is to look at the operative phrase bank. And the most typical phrase that you'll see is recommends. So you take recommends, or whatever phrase you pick, and put it at the beginning of your solution. The next step is to underline the operative phrase, to enumerate the operative clause. It should begin with a number. And the operative clause should end with a semicolon, except for the very last one, which should end with a period. When you write your resolution, you'd have a set of preambulatory clauses, you have a set of operative clauses, and when you take a step back and read it, it should read aloud like one long but grammatically correct sentence, from the General Assembly to each preambulatory clause to the operative clauses. This is just one of many tips that we teach at the Model UN Institute about resolution writing and other MUN skills. And I hope to see many of you this summer.